Hey, welcome to FunNGun. Got another cool red dot sight on the table for you today. But before we get into that, I want to go ahead and say right here up front that none of the firearms in this video are going to be for sale. All of the links in this video, all of the discount codes in this video are going to be for Cyelee red dot sights only. So YouTube, please go ahead and just chill out on that for me if you don't mind. What we have for you today is going to be the Chameleon SRS8 from Cyelee Optics. I want to say a big thanks to them for bringing me on as an affiliate of their brand. If you're looking to pick up this Chameleon or any of their other products, you can go ahead and use the link in the description below there to open up their website. Then use code FunNGun at checkout to get 10% off nearly everything on their website. That is also going to help out the channel just a little bit there. So what we're going to go ahead and do now is go over the packaging briefly. We'll go over what you get with the red dot sight here. Then we'll go over its features. We'll show some footage of me shooting it in an IDPA competition. Then we'll come back and give my kind of thoughts of the Chameleon SRS8 as a competition sight. Then we'll go ahead and close out the video. So let's go ahead and briefly cover the packaging here. And as always, with a Cyelee product, you're going to get a really nice packaging. It's going to have all kinds of information on it. And like I always like to say, if they care this much about the packaging they're putting the product in, that means they really care about what they're putting in the package, in my opinion. So the first thing I'm going to go ahead and show you here is, as always, you're going to get the little card here recommending you sight your Cyelee product in at 25 yards, because if you sight it in at 5 yards, you're going to be dead on at 5, high at 10, high at 25. If you sight it in at 10 yards, you're going to be low at 5, dead on at 10, high at 25. If you sight it in at 25, you're going to be pretty much dead on all three ranges there. And I have been sighting all mine in at 25, and that does work very well. The second card right here is going to go over how to use the turrets properly, so you can go ahead and get an idea of how to sight this in without wasting a bunch of ammo. So I recommend go ahead and check that out. You're going to get a Cyelee patch here. I'm going to go ahead and stick that on my patch wall right there. You're going to get a Cyelee sticker. You're going to get a lens cleaning cloth, and then you're going to get your owner's manual right here, so you can go ahead and check out all the other information that's not covered on the first two little cards there. And then you're going to get this nice little tool here that's going to allow you to mount the sight and adjust it as well. I keep one of these in my range bag because I actually like this tool quite a bit because of the way it's set up here. You got a little stubby flat head on the end of it, and you got this little wide portion right there that's going to allow you to go ahead and feel the clicks on the sight when you're sighting it in. So I like using those little tools quite a bit. Then, as always with the Cyelee product, you're going to get an absolute just ton of screws there. So let's go ahead and set those off to the side and let's bring the dot up on the table here. So before we get too much farther here, I'm going to go ahead and show you that this gun is unloaded. There is nothing in the magazine. There is nothing in the chamber. This is currently mounted on my Watchtower Demolition. So let's go ahead and cover some of the just features of the dot here itself. You're going to have an 8 MOA red dot in this particular version. They do offer this in a green dot as well. I am accustomed to shooting the red one, so I always pick up the red version of any of the sights I get. This particular sight is going to be RMR footprint cut, so you can put this on pretty much anything because it is, well, the most popular footprint there. And it's going to have shake awake technology, so if you want to put this on your bump in the night gun, it's going to go ahead and shut off after 5 minutes and help preserve your battery life. While we're talking about the battery life, this does have up to 50,000 hours of battery life, so it's going to last a long time. The cool thing about that is when you need to change the battery, you're just going to be able to pop open the door right here on the top, put a battery in it, and close it back up without having to take the sight off, which is always nice because you don't have to re-sight it in afterwards. So definitely a nice feature right there. This is going to be IPX7 waterproof. So this, I believe IPX7 is 1 foot of water for 30 minutes. So you get caught out in the rain when you're carrying this, or you're just out on the range and it starts raining on you at a competition or anything, you're going to be perfectly fine. And I will say that that's definitely the case because in all of the competition footage, just about, if you pay attention, you can tell the ground is wet, and that's because it was raining on and off throughout the entire day. So definitely waterproof. Let's see, like I said, top mounted battery there. You're going to have a 1.04 by 0.89 inch window size. So you got a large window, and that's actually going to put it right here on par. I'm going to bring another gun in right here. I'm going to go ahead and show you this gun right here is also clear. There is nothing in the chamber there. There is nothing in the magazine here either. Now, pay no attention to the gun. You hadn't seen this gun on the channel. That's something that's going to come later on. But this is going to be the Ghost HDG from Cyelee Optics. I have a full video on this particular sight on my channel here as well if you want to check that one out. And as you can see there, they have the exact same size window, with the bigger kind of difference here being that the Ghost kind of has the roll cage on it, and this is going to be a 2 MOA with a 32 MOA circle in it, and you can change in between the 2 MOA, the circle, or the circle dot. So this is a multi-reticle, and then your Chameleon here is just going to be an 8 MOA dot, which is something that took me a little getting used to. We'll get to more in a minute. End up liking that quite a bit. This is going to be parallax free. You're going to have 8 daytime settings and 2 night vision settings. So this is night vision compatible. Now, let's go ahead and just kind of get my overall thoughts of this particular sight and some of the stuff I thought was pretty cool about it. And they do mention this being kind of a lower profile sight, and what I thought was cool about that is it actually allows you to get a hold of the rear slide separations on this gun and still operate the slide with the dot installed, because most of the time they're going to be in the way based off how they're mounted, and I can still get a full grip on the rear of the slide, so I thought that was pretty cool. And it does overhang a little bit, so on certain guns it is possible that it could overhang and cause ejection issues, but I feel like the overhang on this is so minimal, it's not going to be that big of a deal on pretty much any gun. And as you can see here, I do have it mounted on a 2011 style gun, and it's nowhere near overhanging. And some of the other product or different sights I have put on this have overhung, so this one has a little bit of overhang, but it's not a big deal. And what we're thinking about right here, because I just seen it, is your minus buttons on one side and your positive buttons on the other side. Now I will say it's a little bit odd because all of the other sights I have, including all the Cyelees I have, are on the right or the left side right here. I'm sorry. And you're going to have an up and down arrow, and it's kind of intuitive to know that the up arrow is forward and the back arrow is going to be down. So once you get the hang of that, when you get one of these, it's a little bit, you got to remember, you'll be sitting there. I find myself hitting the same button going, hey, why is it not going up and down? That's because it's on the opposite side. You just got to learn that it's not on the same side, which is pretty nice. So if you want to go down, you can with that side. And if you want to go up, you can use your other thumb or use your support hand thumb to go up and down, your trigger finger to go down. Either way, easy enough to get two buttons. They have a nice click to them, very positive clicks. They have a nice rubber covering on them. While we're talking about clicks, you do have nice clicks in the actual turrets right here to sight this in. Now I will say it's kind of annoying that there is no tick marks. As you can see here on the Ghost right here, you're going to have little lines so you can kind of keep up with how many clicks you're moving it. Now, since the clicks are nice and positive, you can just count them in your head. So if you go too many, you just back it back up a few, or if you need to go a few more, you just keep counting. So it's easy enough to sight it in. Just would have been nice to have some tick marks there to kind of help you keep up with where you're at in the sighting in process. Now, we did talk about the overhang a little bit, and I didn't mention the fact that the glass is actually well protected. As you can see there, it is recessed back in to the frame right here. So that's going to allow you to rack this off of different stuff, and it's going to protect the glass, and obviously the rear is also protected because it is sunk up in there as well. And they do recommend, or they do call this a competition or a carry sight. Now, I would lean more to this being a competition sight, because this being rounded like that, if you bang this into something hard enough, it is possible that it could crack the glass. But I feel like this makes an absolute excellent competition sight, as I'll get to later in the video. And I will say that it did take me a minute to get used to the 8 MOA dot, and I didn't know if I was going to like it, because that is significantly larger of a dot than I'm usually shooting in my sights. But that's actually something I ended up liking about it. So what I'm going to go ahead and do right here is I'm going to go ahead and head off to the part of the video where I'm shooting this in a competition. Okay, this is actually my favorite stage of the day, and actually one of my best stages as well. As a signal, I'm going to go ahead and back up to this farthest flight line right here, get that one to the body, that one to the head. And then we're going to get these three right here, so I can go ahead and do a reload. Moving over here to shoot these two to the body right here. Then we're going to lean over and shoot these two right here to the head to finish off this particular stage. Okay, now for what was the hardest stage of the day. It was still quite a bit of fun though. At the signal, you're going to go ahead and go to the far right side of the stage, go ahead and get that one to the body, hit that steel target. You got to wait on these to unsynchronize so you can shoot the swinger. Go ahead and get these two to the body. Going to go ahead and do a reload right here as we're going to the other side. Get that one to the body, hit the steel to activate the clamshell. Give it quite a few rounds, then we're going to finish off by giving this target two to the head. The gun did jam right there. Okay, if you're interested in seeing the rest of the footage from that competition, actually how I finished it, I'll go ahead and link that video at the end of this one. What we're going to do now is give some of my thoughts of the Chameleon SRS8 as a competition sight. Some more thoughts on it in general, and then we'll just go ahead and close out the video after that. So what we're going to do now is go ahead and talk about how this nice large window made it really easy to keep that nice large dot inside of it when you're shooting this gun right here at speed. And I really like that feature of this sight. And I will say, like you heard me say a second ago, I did not know if I was going to like the 8 MOA dot, because I am so accustomed to shooting dot circles, because pretty much all my handguns have a dot circle on them. One more thing I want to clarify here, I did call this a 32 MOA with a 2 MOA. This is actually a 24 MOA circle with a 2 MOA dot. I want to clarify that real quick. Something I thought about after I said it. But either way, I am really used to shooting a dot circle, so to go to a just plain large 8 MOA dot was just a little bit different. It took me a second to get used to. But I gotta say, after shooting it quite a bit, I really like the 80 MOA dot, and I think that's because of how intuitive it is. You just put that big old dot on whatever you want to hit, just go ahead and put a few rounds on target, and it makes it real easy to keep up with how large it is as well. Now, one thing I was worried about was when I was shooting this in IDPA, I did not know if it was going to cover up the head box on the targets at a longer range, and that did not end up being an issue whatsoever. It was just as easy to shoot them in the head as it was to shoot them in the body, so not a problem there at all. Ended up really liking this sight. And another thing I want to talk about here is the fact that this glass is really clear, and the dot itself is nice and crisp in there, and I do have an astigmatism, so the fact that dot is crisp in there is nice, in my opinion, because I have picked up other brands of dots and you just get a fireball. So I really like that about this sight as well. So overall, I feel like with a $200 MSRP, if you pick one of these sights up and you use my code FunNGun at checkout, you're going to get it for $180 plus shipping and tax. That's an absolute steal on a really nice competition style dot here. And I feel like if you pick one of these up, you're really going to like it. And that's all I had for you today. Okay, if you made it this far, I just want to say thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and share. If you're looking for more FunNGun right now, you can click one of the 2 recommended videos there. If you're looking for more FunNGun later, you can go ahead and click that there subscribe button. I sure would appreciate it. And if you're finding me from Facebook, go ahead and click that open app button at the top to make all that a lot easier. And I'll see you next time.